Righto, welcome to the fourth and final episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam, and this is about, well, in relation to events that I've mentioned before, like how I mentioned Leonardo da Vinci, comparatively, I suppose, as a little reference in my first episode of this week. And by what fucking speech impediment, whatever, not impediment. But yeah, what I mean by that is, basically, this is about Pedro II, the final emperor of Brazil, and I suppose he can be compared to his one of his cousins, Maximilian, who tried to be emperor of Mexico. I can't really remember exactly if he actually officially became emperor, but it basically went tits up for him a lot sooner and a lot more embarrassingly than his little cousin Pedro Jr. basically, who actually managed to be the second emperor of Brazil. I mean, Pedro was overthrown, but he had a good, compared to his cousin Max, he had a good run, and the whole reason kind of why a name dropped Franz Joseph is because Franz Joseph, Maximilian, and Pedro II are all related maternally. Yeah. So basically, the three cousins were all of were on their mother's side were part of the Habsburg family, part of Austria-Hungary, and Franz Joseph, the most well known of the family. He had loads of relatives, as you'll already know if you've seen the Fun Facts episode about him, where I specifically talk about his many relatives and descendants, and also I kind of talk about his brother Max, who did, went on a disastrous campaign to become Emperor of Mexico, but arguably his cousin Pedro was a lot more successful, as was Pedro I. I think Pedro II's father, who was from a Brazilian Portuguese line, at least. I say at least because the other ancestry and so on and so forth, and established connections and what have you. Yeah, another political one after a political one, but cousin Max was an embarrassment. Cousin Pedro, less so, but still got ousted, more or less. He got ousted, whereas arguably Max didn't even get to properly establish himself. So yeah, that's basically it for before I witter on and 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 on. Yeah, at some point I'll put the references to the Franz Josef episode of this series, and at some point I'll maybe tomorrow, whenever I get round to it, I'll put the episode about Da Vinci in the description box of episode 98. So yeah, that concludes this week's Fun Facts of Liam. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, but most of all, subscribe, because that's always a good thing. So see you later. Hello all, it's your boy, Lee the History Boy. Did I say your boy? Really? I gotta stop saying that. Or lapsing into that. Yeah, and it's that time of week again where I do the four fun facts every Friday. In one video at a time. Episodes, segments, whatever. And if you've seen the ones a week ago, perhaps the week after, than that many. Sometimes I lose track of when I did them. Obviously, like I said, it's every Friday, but topics and cover, all that kind of stuff. And if you've seen the episode about the Roman wine found in Andalusia that's 2,000 years old, well, basically, to not to sound like a Captain Obvious, but people have been drinking, having a good old knees up since time immemorial, to quote Tony Soprano. But a little bit, but yeah, the process. Yeah, I was looking into drinking establishments and pubs and bars and all that kind of stuff, and arguably the first known drinking establishment slash I guess like a proto pub, as you'd call it, proto bar, whatever, depending where you are, and there's all sorts of public drinking establishments of all kinds, that are, that have evolved and developed from different things. But the first proper, let's say, pub, arguably would be in a cave that was once the site of a Neolithic village in Jiahu, northern China, I think, somewhere in China, and the practice of making wine, and most important to the subject, the actual key subject matter is the brewing of beer, and archaeologists found urns of beer, brewing kits that go back some 9,000 years at least, and the it sounds like the village itself was quite advanced for the time. That archaeologists kind of know of. Something a lot. Oh Christ! I sound like that. I sound like that developmentally disabled cop from Family Guy. You know, we know you killed Lois. You know that shit. I mean, it's embarrassing. And I do my best not to watch back these videos because there it is again. Because I just don't understand how people can stand to listen to themselves, talk back to themselves, play the voice back. But looks like, yeah. I mean, you account, you account the wine making in Georgia, the beer brewing and winemaking in China, and the aforementioned episode of the Andalusian wine. I'll put that in the description as well as I know I do with the references and sources and mentions and all that kind of jazz. But it looks like basically if people could find a way to have a good old knees up, to quote Rodney Trotter in Only Fools and Horses, then they do it. Have a good old time, play music in their case in the Neolithic Chinese, drinking buddies kind of culture. They'd play flute music like Neanderthals before them, tens of thousands of years before they were around. So, not much else to say about that. On without running the risk of rambling on and saying a lot of irrelevant nonsense. So, that was the first episode of this week's Fun Facts with Liam. And I'll see you in, obviously the next three. Sorry for umming and ahhing. I don't know what it is. I've been feeling... I don't know. I've been feeling a bit up and down. Not mentally. Don't worry. Nobody... I hope I haven't triggered some kind of patronising suicide watch helpline thing that they do on YouTube videos where it's like they even put it on like a scene of a movie or something where somebody involves someone killing themselves or talking about killing themselves. It's like, well, it's not relevant. Stop with the condescending compassion. So I'll shut the fuck up now and get on with editing this and getting on with the next three episodes. I'll see you then. Hello and welcome to episode 12, as I said I would, of Fun Facts with Liam. And this is about a sort of myth that's probably very much grounded in reality, and that's that of the Danish king Canute. Early English king, I guess, technically, when there were still tribes of people. I guess you'd apply that in general to that kind of period around other places where people were just in tribes and kingdoms, weird hodgepodge tribal kingdoms, but in this case sort of Viking, Christian kind of peoples. Well, kind of getting onto the conversion of into Christianity for Canute's people, but and I say that without, before I get into kind of wittering territory where I'm sort of slightly not making sense. Canute's advisors, followers believed that because he was a son of Odin, or Aegir or Nord or Heimdall or some figure in their pantheon that he could command the tide. I'm sure in certain history classes around the world, especially in my neck of the woods and a bit further on, especially if you like read horrible histories and stuff, vicious Vikings and the like, that he told the tide to go back, but technically that's wrong because he was trying to prove that just because you had a high status, ruled over people, whatever, you weren't automatically a god, even if you were a descendant of a god. It didn't really mean anything because it can be likened to certain stories in Norse mythology, Greek mythology, where like a hero or something is a descendant of a god or some kind of other minor deity or being or something, and they don't really have terrific, they're not as powerful as the parents, or or have any abilities that set them out immediately from the people they grew up with or whatever. So yeah, the King Canute thing, he was very much likely trying to prove that kings and chiefs and lords and all the rest of it, any kind of high position, were not appointed by God or gods of their pantheon didn't speak through them or gift them powers or whatever the rest of it. It's just, yeah, he was proving to people that he wasn't automatically a god. So yeah, that pretty much concludes the penultimate episode of this week. And that was all my crap on the floor. I'll pick that up when I've stopped recording. But yeah, sorry you can't see my I guess pretty face, because for some reason the brightness is rubbish. So yeah, let me know what you think and all that, and yeah, see you in the final episode of this week. Hello, and yeah, it's that time of the week. For fun facts with Liam, or just fun facts with Liam, and the one I've pulled out of my proverbial ass so far, or well, more like researched a bit, and you Slice to Learn fans out there will probably know, especially Rambo fans. The bit in First Blood, the very first film, where he's where the sheriff or the police trooper with the mustache tries to get the helicopter pilot to angle right so he can shoot John off a cliff, and he ends up falling to his death. I think what was funny to me in that is I think he kind of brought it on him. He very much brought it on himself. I think where he threatened him. You all know that if you've seen it multiple times like I have, when there's either nout on or you can't be arsed flicking through or can't pick anything. What now? Yeah, where I can't remember his name. It's one of the guys that's not Teasel, not the leader. You know, the guy mustache. As I said, yeah, he goes to the helicopter pilot. You know, fly this thing right. I swear to God, I'm gonna kill you. So you know, him falling out of the helicopter, I don't think was a complete accident. But yeah, the actual point of the episode, the subject of the episode, is that you know, the bit where Rambo falls off the cliff edge and through some trees, and he screams. He actually injured himself, and not only that, but they did actually have a stunt. Did have a stunt man when they were shooting it from the bit where he actually falls, and then before the halfway point, it's the stunt man. But Stallone insisted on doing the rest of the stunt himself, and he actually injured himself quite badly. I mean, that's some that's you know, that's some almost Jackie Chan kind of stunt inspiration there, where he actually just wanted to be like in the action itself, make the scene authentic. And yeah, Jackie Chan, you know, it's in his even into like his 50s and stuff like that, it's complete bonkers with the stunt stuff. I mean, it's to the point where he had to get bits of his skull like grafted back on and metal plates and stuff like that. You know, bloody Keith Richards style injuries and everything like that. But it seems like the worst thing that Sly ever did was almost have internal bleeding. It's a good job that, you know, in the scene, as you can see in First Blood, where there's like a shitload of trees and greenery on the way down. Otherwise, he could have actually died. It'd been a lot worse, or you know, being a paraplegic. I mean, you look at is it First Blood Part 3, whatever it's called, the one where he's in Afghanistan, where there was still tensions between the Soviets and the the Afghan people. And there's that bit where he's cauterizing the wound with a like a armor piercing round or whatever, part of armor piercing round with the gunpowder. I presume he didn't actually do any of that, you know. But yeah, basically the thing that looks more hardcore, that you know, than him falling through the trees probably technically didn't really happen, but him falling through the trees halfway through the shoot did happen in all the way back in First Blood. So yeah, that was overall episode 86 of Fun Facts with Liam. Sure to like, subscribe, comment, and all the rest of that, and I will see you in all the other ones as usual.